Hi, I'm Professor Rosen. Rather than wasting a bunch of time in the very first lecture, which starts on a Wednesday, I figured let's go over the syllabus in this video, so in case you come in late, you're not going to miss too much. Alright, so let's go ahead and go through our syllabus. So our syllabus is pretty detailed, so I'm going to jump through it. So this is the Intro to Programming course. We cover basic programming concepts, as well as how does object-oriented programming work with inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation. It's a 4-hour course, which means there's plenty of work involved. So 8 to 12 hours of work outside of class isn't really too much, that's a reasonable amount of work. So there's a metric where 1 credit hour, I believe, is like 3 hours out of work. Sorry, out of class work. So our time and place is Monday and Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. in Anderson Hall, room 14. Our labs are at one second. Sorry. Yep. Okay. Our labs are on Friday at 11 and 1 in Circ 206. Go to your assigned lab. Just don't randomly show up in the other one. This is really important because there's a limited number of seats. Okay. Your prerequisites are C or better in Math 20 in 1021 or higher, or placement in 1022 or higher. This means that I think that's college algebra, so not too much math. And we don't expect too much math coming in, and we don't expect too much. And you're expected to know how to use a computer, but not necessarily be an expert on it. However, we do recommend that if you have no programming experience whatsoever, you should probably take 1051 or 1057. So that's programming in Python, which is a much easier language, and 1057, which is programming in C, which is a heck of a lot like the language we're about to learn, Java. We strongly recommend that you have a laptop. 1051 is a great class. Python is a great language. It's useful to know more than one language. In fact, useful to know multiple languages. I'm kind of biased because Python's my favorite language, and I'd rather be doing this class in Python. But Java is extremely useful to know as well. So our textbook, let me go ahead and grab it. So our textbook is this textbook, Stuart Regis and Marty Stepp, Building Java Programs, a back-to-basics approach. I really like the way this textbook presents the material, and it, like most introductory textbooks, we're only going to go up to chapter 9 or 10. But the chapters after that do go over some material that you'll be getting in 2168, so it's useful to have. It is marked as required for this course, although I won't be using like the My Programming Lab from this, or the or assigning problems out of the book. Okay. Oh yeah, one last thing. Laptop, strongly recommended for this class. You don't necessarily need to have one, as all the lab computers have all the software you need, but it's useful to be able to work wherever you need to. If you cannot afford a computer, speak with me. You probably a computer for $350 will get you most of what you need, most of the horsepower you need to get through this class and the ones that follow it. So let's see. So I also suggest reading. We also have this other book over here, Alan Downey and Chris Mayfield's Think Java: How to Think Like a Computer Scientist, and that's a particularly useful textbook that I have listed here, because unlike the other one, this one's a free textbook. So you can grab the PDF from here. Now I won't be using this I won't be using this textbook in the class. This is not the textbook we use for the class. It's the other textbook that we use for the class. But I listed in here because this is a really useful resource, because it's for free, $35 on Amazon, if I recall correctly. You can get it in the PDF, you can go through it in HTML, but what I really like, and the reason I listed it, is because you have an interactive version here. So if we go into Chapter 7, Loops, right, it has, let's see if I can't find one, should have does it not have over there? Let's see, over here. There we go. It has, in places, interactive consoles where basically it will have code and you can play with it and run it. So here, type something, right? Oh, it's got my modifications from last time I checked it. Okay. So if I change it, then it will update. And let's see. Sorry. Awesome. Sorry about that. So we have so that's our textbook, our other textbook. My office hours. My office in Circ 349. So same building as your labs, on just the floor above. My office hours are Monday and Wednesday from 3 to 4. No appointment or advance notice needed. So that means that you can just walk in. You don't need to send me an email saying, hey, can I show up for lab? You can just show up. Just walk in. Knock on my door if it's closed. So if you can't meet me during those office hours, send me an email saying you'd like to meet me. I'm typically in until 6 o'clock those days, on Monday and Wednesday. If you send me an email and want to meet with me, I'll make sure that I'm still there. If you need to meet me on some other times because your lecture is because you have lectures during those times, then send me an email and we'll meet you there. If we can't come up with a time to meet, then I can meet via WebEx or Skype. So basically we can do a video conference and I can look at your screen and take control of it if I need to and type stuff in. So we can work that way. Our TA is Alexi. He's awesome. I've worked with him multiple times. And my worked with him multiple times, and he will be in the labs, but not at the lectures. So his office hours are from 12 to 2 on Monday and 11 to 1 on Tuesday. So yes, that does overlap slightly with our lab time. That's because he holds office hours for a bunch of classes, well, a bunch of sections of 1068. So he's not just our TA, but also he's TAing a bunch of other stuff. So he shares my office, Circ 349. So you can meet him from 12 to 2 on Monday or 11 to 1 on Tuesday, and he'll be there during the labs, and I'll be there for most of the labs. So our expectations on attendance, we expect you to be there. You're paying for the class. You might as well show up. And we actually do, quizzes in class for attendance. So I'll get into that. If you arrive late, do your best to, not make a fuss about it. Our lectures do cover more content, so you can't just read the book. My examples are pretty darn helpful, and I do sometimes mention what will and will not be on the exam. However, that being said, if you're sick, don't come to class. Please, no, don't care. Don't care if there's an exam. Don't care if there's a quiz. Don't come to class. You're sick. Do not come to class. I have an infant at home, soon to be a toddler. Do not want him to get what you have. I do not want what you have either. I don't want my wife to get what you have. I don't want your classmates to get what you have. I don't want your friends to get what you have. You need to stay home and get better. Okay? Drink plenty of fluids. Get plenty of rest. Okay? I'm pretty serious about this. It's more important that you feel better. What if you're missing this stuff? We'll work it out. Okay? I like to think I'm a reasonable kind of guy. And if you really just, need to stay home and you need to catch up, there's a reason I record my lectures. Okay? Don't cheat. Your work has to be your own, unless you're in a pair programming exercise, in which case you both can submit the exact same thing. But you just, you got to submit your own work, not, okay, I'm going to email my friend and use his work as a guide and maybe switch over some variable names. That's not going to work. Okay, if you copy your work, you're going to get a 0. Any student who's we find cheating will get a 0. And definitely don't cheat on an exam. You shouldn't cheat at all. But I get it. It's very bad for you if you cheat on an exam. It's very bad for you if you cheat on an assignment. Don't cheat. It's bad. Okay? don't copy somebody else's work. So what that says, so when in doubt, provide a citation. Working with others and creating your own unique solutions, that's not cheating, right? I actually encourage you to work with your classmates. You should work with your classmates. They should be your first line of, like, of questions. Sorry, that should be the first round of people you ask for that if you have questions. Your classmates are your best resource there. Like, how did you solve this? Well, I did this. Oh, okay, so that's how you did it. And then if you understand how to program, then you can take their solution and implement it on your own, right? That you can take their words and turn that into a program, okay? We encourage you to ask your classmates for help, collaborate. Copying somebody else's work is cheating, and that will be dealt with accordingly. So don't copy somebody else's work, okay? Disabilities, if you, go through DRS for that, and if you need an accommodation, let me know. Recordings, I record my lectures. You can make your own recordings, but you gotta let me know first. Okay? Grading. So, right, I've seen questions about whether or not I curve, so I'll explain that here. Letter grades are assigned at no higher than 90 is an A, 80 is a B. So in other words, if you get a 90, you're guaranteed to get an A. B is guaranteed to A is guaranteed to be B. In general, you need above the 70 to pass the class. So the DWF, the Ds, the Fs, and the withdrawals for this class in previous semesters have consistently been around 30%, meaning about 30% of the class failed or dropped the class or got a D. So please be aware of that if you're struggling. There is maybe extra credit opportunities available on exams and on assignments. I do not give out extra assignments or tests for you to make up, so I don't give you a test again to make up on it. But I normally drop a lab and a quiz. I do use plus minus grading, but I don't use it I use it to bump people up. Don't typically. I use it to make I use plus minus grading. And I go and I think about the way I use it, because I realize that a minus hurts. So your final class in the grade will be the average of all those of each item. So your assignments are 32% of your grade, and your assignment grade is the average of all your assignments. So, the only thing that I'm probably going to change is possibly the weight of the quizzes and the timed labs. So I'll go through each of these in turns, but your quizzes are worth 5% of your grade. Your labs and assignments are worth 30% of your grade. Your timed labs are 15% of your grade. Okay? Exam 1, Exam 2 are 15% each, and your finals 20%. Okay? Your timed labs are kind of like mini exams, so small exams, and we're probably going to do 3 of them. So this is new this semester. It's a way for me to draw some exam. So it's a way for me to draw some of the weight off from my exams and into a lab-like situation. So we'll see how that works out this semester, and depending on how we arrange these, I might raise the quiz grade, I might raise the time and lower the time labs, or I might make the lab, or I might split the amount that I take away between labs and assignments and quizzes. So these can be slightly adjusted. But this one might go down and these go up. These aren't going to go down in the amount they're worth. So what are quizzes? Quizzes are very short, very, very short quizzes. They are not announced. They're pop. But you can expect one basically every 2 or 3 weeks. But they're not every 2 weeks. Every week or every 2 weeks at most. Okay? They double as an attendance grade in the sense that basically there will probably be in the sense that you're going to get out of 10 points on each of these, anywhere between 4 to 7 of them will be granted for you writing your name, essentially. Some of them will be on paper, and I've got about 6 of them so far that will be given that you will be able to take electronically, so using your smartphone or using a laptop. So that makes grading a heck of a lot easier for us. And so these are meant to be like low pressure kind of things. So since you automatically get points for just taking them, okay? They're a small portion of your grade. Your assignments and labs are the same thing. Okay, your assignments are posted electronically on Canvas. You will receive I give out an assignment basically every single week. It's posted on Canvas, and it will be given out not on Friday, but on Wednesday. Should fix that. And it will generally be due on 6 a.m. the following week. Nope, sorry, I was thinking of the other class. So on Friday, generally. And it'll be generally due 6 a.m. on... Oh, come on, seriously? Errors like that? Unacceptable. Grading. Hot patching your syllabus on the fly. So, all right. Assignments and labs are intrinsically tied. Your assignments are posted electronically on campus. You will receive an assignment approximately every I will give you an assignment pretty much every week on Thursday, and I'll post it late Thursday evening, if not sooner, and it will be due on Friday, on either 6 a.m. or Friday or Saturday, depending on what Alexi and I decide for the turn-in times for those. Why 6 a.m.? Well, technically it's due midnight, and I'm just giving you an automatic 6-hour extension so that I don't have to deal with students asking me for an extension. All right, so what is a lab then? Well, lab sessions are dedicated time for you to work on those assignments that I give you. So you should be working on the current week's lab, not the previous week's lab. That should be your priority. In other words, the one that just got assigned. Because otherwise, I've seen too many examples of students who have worked on the previous assignment that's due in 12 hours and just fall behind. So we will explain the assignment at the beginning of the lab, and we're going to be available to aid you and help you out. And again, you can ask your lab mates for help. We expect you to attend, especially since as I'll explain, the exams will be during the lab session. All right, so compilation. So programming assignments, they're expected to compile. If they do not compile and you send them to us and you don't warn us, that's an auto 0. In fact, if we can't run it, we're not going to grade it. Anything that can't run, you're not going to get credit for. And this is also another problem I see. I see students try to work on the whole code at once, and they've got 12 errors, and of course the code's not going to work. They can't fix it. Every line you write, it should work. If you look at the way I write code in class, you're going to see that the code I write works. And I always make it so that it can always run. There's no reason why you shouldn't do that. So if you have trouble fixing a compilation issue, read the error and line number. Otherwise, read the error, find the line number. Then if you should check to make sure your parentheses and braces and brackets match. You should use Google, or email me, your TA or me, or ask us, right? Always submit a .java file. Turning in, to get a grade for your assignment, it must be submitted online, not to Blackboard, but to Canvas. All right, so submit it online to Canvas. That way, we basically have an electronic paper trail to make sure that you did turn in your stuff, and then demo it. So it's a two-part process to get a grade. The first is to submit it so that it exists, and the second is to demo it. So demoing your work is something that you need to do to get your grade. Okay? So if you do not demo your labs, you will not get a grade. A lot of students for some reason, are shocked when they find that out because they didn't read the syllabus or they didn't look or pay attention to the syllabus video. So you need to demo your work. So what does that mean? It involves showing that your program works, explaining pieces of your source code, and answering some questions. You can demo either during my office hours to me, during Alexi's office hours to him, or you can demo it to either of us during the lab time. And we do accept your late work. So, okay. So late work. Let's see. View. Scroll. View. Let's see. Continuous. Here we go, late policy. So here's your late policy. Late assignments are accepted with a penalty as described below. Your grade is equal to the score you got on that assignments times 0.95 to the Lth power, where L is the number of days late. So that means that basically it's 5% off per day. So the first day it's a 95, the second day it's slightly more than a 90. Okay? It's your responsibility to demo late work. Late grades are determined by when you turn it in, not when you demo it. So you can demo it, so you can turn it in and then demo it when you get the opportunity to us. But the sooner you demo, the sooner you can find out if you made a mistake. Okay, so there's an example formula for you. 5 day late equals 77.38. Okay, exams. Those exams count for half your grade. I will provide practice exams for you. They're excellent approximations of the exam because the way I made a bunch of my practice exams is that I basically created twice as many questions as I needed, threw half of them into a practice exam, threw half of them into the actual exam. Okay, so be sure to use them. Do not miss an exam. We will give the makeup exams on case-by-case basis. So you can expect 2 exams and a final. First exam will be either during week 5 lab or the week 6 lab, and the second will be around week 10 or week 11. So that's subject to change. So our final exam will be on May 8th from 3:30 to 5:30. It's a common final, which means you'll take it with everybody else from 1068. So where it will be, not the room that we normally have our lecture in. It'll be in a room with everybody it will be in a very large room. Typically it's in Gladfelter or something like that. The final's difficult. It has a reputation for being very difficult. It's not, and personally, when we write it, we don't think it's more difficult than any other final, but I think it has to do with the stress of basically having to study for a bunch of major exams all at once, and then also because there's just so much material. Please note, though, if you have more than 2 finals on the same day, your university policy allows you to request that a professor not give you a final that day and instead give you a different time. Okay, so timed labs. Timed labs are labs that must be completed within lab during a specific time limit. So think of them as kind of a mini exam worth about, altogether they're going to be 15% of your grade, and I'll probably do 3 of them. So they're a new thing this semester. Treat them as mini exams. They will be announced. Your first one will be around week 3, and I bet your second one will probably be week 7 or 8. And they're just typically going to, they're going to be easier than an assignment because you got to be able to complete them within an hour and a half. Okay. Material is a guide subject to change, and we'll update it to reflect changes. Your rights and responsibilities are here, and I have a bunch of team tips for succeeding, but it involves doing your homework. All right. So with that, I look forward to seeing you in class.